This van has caused me nothing but grief since day one.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you're new here. Now if you watched last week's video, you will know that I've been having problems with my truck's air brakes, and the tank isn't filling to release the brakes, so it hasn't moved in quite a while now. In this video I'm going to be continuing with that fault. Let me just run through what we've looked at so far. So I found a couple of melted fuses. They were linked to the compressor circuit. So I checked the relay wiring and found that it was wired incorrectly, so I put that right and I managed to get the compressor running. However, the tanks still weren't filling up, so then I moved on to the air dryer filter and I replaced this just in case it was causing a blockage, but I didn't have any luck with that and the low pressure light still remained on the dashboard. At this point I suspected it was a mechanical fault, possibly a blockage between the air dryer unit and the main tank. After joining the Facebook forum for the Varios, I managed to find this schematic diagram showing the air brake system, and it shows a non-return valve in between the air dryer unit and the main tank labelled up as F. So I decided to trace the air through the system, starting off with the air dryer unit. Once I'd proved I had air pressure at the filter canister, I then wanted to make sure that the air was going back to the tanks, so I disconnected what I thought was a non-return valve off of the bottom of the compressor. Turns out it wasn't a non-return valve, it was just a straight through connection piece, so the air was making it through there. So then I checked back at the tanks to make sure we were getting air to the tanks.
That tank is filling.
Good news that the air was making it back to the tanks, but the pressure was still too low to operate my brakes. So that made me suspect that the compressor may be faulty and it wasn't putting out enough pressure to operate the system. So I decided to connect up my garage compressor, and then that way we'd be able to prove whether it is the compressor that's at fault. And lo and behold, with my garage compressor connected, supplying at about 8 bar, the brakes worked. I phoned up Mercedes to get a quote for a brand new compressor and they wanted £1,500. Now my pockets aren't that deep, so I wanted to make sure that it was the compressor that was faulty. And for that I wanted to carry out a compression test on it. So using my engine compression tester, I checked the output from the compressor and it was putting out around 9 bar. 9 bar should be more than enough to charge the tanks and release the brakes, but that was a bench test pressure, so I was connected directly to the battery. Let's see what pressure we get when we connect it to the van's wiring.
Okay, that's connected to the van's wiring. I'm now going to see what output pressure we got. Well, there we go. Cool. I'm just going to run a dedicated earth to the compressor just in case we've got a bad earth. So I'm going to connect this wire straight up to the negative post on the battery, straight to the compressor, and we'll see if we get a better output pressure from it. It actually sounds much louder, so let's see if this improves. No, it's not much better. Now I'm also going to bypass the positive side of the circuit and run that straight to the battery, and hopefully we should get 9 out of the compressor then. Okay, I was getting closer to sort of 7 bar there. It's still not 9, but it was getting a lot of leakage around this plug. That's the pipe connected back up. I've decided I'm going to run this as a dedicated supply to the compressor, just so that it's not running through the old van's wiring, just in case there is a fault there and we've got high resistance. So I'm just going to be using that for the control signal to turn the compressor on and off through a relay. Straight off of the battery, I've got a nice thick cable here. I think it's about 6 mil. I'm going to go through this fuse holder, fuse that at 30 amps, and then it will go straight back to the compressor through a relay on the load side. I want the fuse nice and close to the positive terminal of the battery, so let's just cut this in. Wires everywhere. I've got to bear in mind that it is connected up to the battery at the moment, so I should probably disconnect it, but I'm not going to. So this wants to connect onto our relay on 30. So let's put a crimp on there. We'll connect that onto 30 from the battery. The other side goes to our positive of the compressor, so 87. So that's the load side to our compressor. Now we just need to sort out a control signal. So the control signal is going to come from our van. So that's going to energize a relay on 85 or 86. It doesn't actually matter. That will energize our relay, and then that can go on the negative side of the relay. Yeah, that's good. This does look a little bit confusing, but it's quite straightforward. I've run a dedicated supply here straight to the negative side of the battery on the black one, and then I've used brown for the positive. It's just the cable I had. So that goes straight to the positive side of the battery, fused for a 30 amp fuse. This goes into the relay on 30, the load side, out on 87 to the compressor. And then I've used the van's control wires, which was telling the compressor to cut in and out originally for the coil inside this relay. So that will energize the coil, tell the relay to close, and then the compressor will come on. And then when it's up to pressure, it should cut the power to this through an external control circuit somewhere, which will kill the power. And then that way we're getting a full supply directly to our compressor. So let's test it out. Our compressor's running. This relay's energized. So it should be charging the tanks. Yeah, feels like a good bit of pressure there. That light's still on the dash, but it has only been a minute. You can see the time on this clock from when I turned the van on. There we go, 2 minutes. Might take a few minutes to charge because the tanks were empty. If this works, I mean, it may still have a problem, but we'll see how we get on with that. Oh my God, it's fixed. Yes. The compressor is still running though, even though that light's gone out. So let's see what pressure it gets up to and what happens next. I mean, that should turn off really. Come on, turn off please. Oh dear. The sun is shining and my brakes work. Yes, it's a good day. It's a good day. So back here, there's our main tank. And then it goes into this reserve tank, if you like, or secondary tank, whatever you want to call it. And I can hear air around here from somewhere. It's really strange how the sound travels. I thought it was coming from this fitting up here, but it turns out it's just leaking out of the plug. Oh no, it is leaking from up there. Right, okay, so we've got a leak there. We've got a leak there. I'm going to check over all of that as well. It's leaking out the end of this pressure switch. It's definitely not supposed to come out the electrical connector. So I need to get a new sensor. See if I can try and find a part number on it and get a new one of those. It's going to be about £1,000, isn't it? Probably, just for that little switch. It's poor connections like this that all add up. So I'm going to remake this cable with a new lug, and that should improve the continuity on between the batteries. It will help charging them and powering the compressor, etc, etc. It all has a knock-on effect. So make sure all of your cable connections are good. Let's cut that off. I should have enough cable here just to remake this one. It looks to be a bit damaged there, so I'm going to cut it back to here. It's 25mm cable, so I've got a 25mm lug with an 8mm hole in it. I'm going to remake that, put a bit of heat shrink on it, and that'll be much better, a much better connection between the batteries. Typical, isn't it? I've run out of red heat shrink the right size for this cable, so I'm just going to use a bit of insulation tape. Not ideal, but it will do the job. Much better. I'm going to take the batteries out, and then I'm going to drill a hole through here to run the cables down through the bottom of the van, and that's going to be like an easy access point for me to run cables directly to the battery in the future. could definitely lend itself to having some armrests, couldn't it? With the batteries out, I can get my drill in here now, and I'm just going to drill a hole through there, just check in to make sure obviously there's nothing on the other side. It looks to be clear, and then I can put a nice grommet in there. Crikey, that's thick steel. Actually feels like alley. No, it's steel. Just going to use a little bit of sandpaper to remove any sharp edges. So that's a nice rubber grommet to protect the cables from the bare metal edges. I've sanded them anyway, so they're nice and smooth, but that's going through there. I've got another one to go on the other side. I'm going to give this a clean out and then put the batteries back. We can run our cables through here, connect the relay up under this cover, and then the wires can go from the compressor up to here. Nice and safe inside the van, and then this cover's going to cover it up. And I'll just put a label on that just saying that relay's inside there. So let me show you what I've done. I've tidied up the battery connections, remade them where I needed to, and this is a dedicated circuit for the compressor. So we've got a 30 amp fuse in there going straight to the compressor via this relay here, which is hidden away underneath this enclosure for the handbrake. I've also added a solar charge controller on this one here, just so that the batteries are kept topped up while I'm doing the conversion, because the van won't be moving that much. So nice little solar charge controller down there, and then a solar panel up there. I've bolted my compressor back down. This is the original van's wiring. I've extended that up to the relay to energize the coil, and then I've remade the connections straight off of the compressor with this nice thicker cable here.
You should have used conduit to protect the cables. I know, I need to get some conduit to protect the cables.
Beautiful. That's it, the van's back together and the air brake system is working as it should. That was a right nightmare job, to be honest. It all starts with the compressor. That's the heart of our circuit, and that's what produces the air to charge the tanks. Air comes from our compressor here through this pipe and into our air dryer unit. The air dryer unit removes any moisture from the air, because moisture in a compressed air system is bad. You can't compress a liquid, and the moisture, the water, also damages components. It causes corrosion inside the system. And we've changed the air dryer canister, so we've got a nice clean canister to remove as much moisture as possible. Our air then enters the main tank and starts charging that. Once it gets up to a certain pressure, 9.2 bar, this overflow valve opens here to let air into the secondary tank. And then this sensor here on the secondary tank is what turns the light off on the dash once the system is full. Until this tank is full, that light will remain on the dash, and that's what our original fault was. Air wasn't getting into this secondary tank here to turn the light off, and the compressor was running constantly, which caused our fuses to melt because it wasn't charging the tanks. It didn't have enough pressure behind it. It didn't have enough torque to fully charge the tanks and turn that light off. So that's what caused the fuses to melt. So what I've done to overcome this problem is run a dedicated power supply to the compressor, but via a relay. Now this is the compressor's original wiring here, the positive and negative, which were going to the compressor to start with. Now that didn't have enough power to run the compressor at its maximum torque to charge the tanks properly. So what I've done is I've used that as a signal to turn the compressor on and off, because there's still control circuit back here somewhere linked in with the pressure switches, the cut in, the cut out pressure, and it also has a timer in there to purge the air dryer. So all of that's back here somewhere. But now I'm just using this cable here to energize a relay, and then our dedicated power supply comes straight from the battery through this relay into it on 30, out on 87, and to our compressor. And I've also run a separate negative or ground directly to the compressor, so it's got a nice new ground in there as well. So that eliminates any issues we were having with this circuit here, and it worked. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It's taken me long enough to figure it out, but we got there in the end. I hope you found this video useful and you've enjoyed watching it. If you have, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you hit that alarm bell, set notifications to all, you'll be notified when I post new videos. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one, where I will be carrying out a service on it if it doesn't have any other issues we need to sort out. Oh God.